Hey, Juventini, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alberto. It's June 21st, and never a dull moment surrounding Juventus. Yesterday, we had to hear about Ronaldo and Neymar being re-offered to Juventus. Today, I'm going to tackle Non Molo's response. That's right, Paolo Non Molo, everybody's character from Facebook, dropping all his news and his reaction to Ronaldo and Neymar being re-offered to Juventus, as well as his latest on all of the surrounding topics around Juventus, including Koulibaly, Aaron Ramsey, Adrian Rabiot's future, talking about Arthur and Roma's interest in the Brazilian midfielder, and finishing up with Conte and Allegri and what could possibly happen in the third year of Allegri's contract. And then, of course, the Cuadrado situation as Juventus push for another fullback. Let's get into it right now. All right, Juventini, friendly reminder to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And before we get to the news, we are going to give a big birthday shout out to Michel Platini. That's right, Michel Platini, who was a Juventus great, spent 1982 to 1987 with the Bianconeri. He amassed around 68 goals in 147 appearances. He did win the Ballon d'Or with Juventus, and he had a good haul of trophies, winning 2 Scudetti, a Coppa Italia, a European Cup, a European Cup Winners' Cup, and a European Super Cup, as well as an Intercontinental Cup with Juventus. So again, tanti auguri to Michel Platini. And if you have always wanted to watch some of these old school great Juve players and haven't had the opportunity and don't know about this website, this is a fantastic website to watch archived matches, okay? And if you want to go as far back as Platini, that's great, but you can even go back to the start of the 9-year reign of supremacy by Juventus from 2011-12. But check out www.footballia.net. It is fantastic for archived matches, okay? And I find myself going there and watching a lot of the old school matches quite a bit, especially when we're talking mid-90s, when you've got Zidane and Del Piero and Davids and whatnot. So it's great, great stuff. So there you have it. Now, let's get to the news. Yesterday, Monblano comes back after being silent for a long time in typical Monblano fashion, dropping this bomb that Ronaldo was reoffered to Juventus at lower terms than he was with Juventus previously. Then he's saying that also Neymar was offered on a loan with PSG picking up most of the salary. So again, not exactly crazy to believe, but it was debunked shortly after by Nico Schira. And then Paolo Non Molo dropped all his news and his takes on everything going on surrounding events. And he said the same thing. He goes, look, I know nothing about it. But then he kicks it off talking about what he does know, and that's for a couple weeks now. And I know Edgar, one of our viewers here, that is going to be happy to hear this news because he's been all over this player in our comments to almost every video saying, why is Juventus not going after this guy? Well, here you have it. Mauro Icardi. Paolo Non Molo saying that for weeks now, PSG has been offering up Icardi, and Juventus has been looking at the possibility of a dry loan for Mauro Icardi with half of the net salary, which would mean somewhere around 5 million euros for Juventus for the dry loan with no obligation come the end of the term. So that's the latest, and that's a big, big bomb from Non Molo. So again, I know you guys are going to have a lot to say after this non-mall drop on this video, but get going. Comment section in this video. Now let's get to Koulibaly. Koulibaly, Paolo Non Molo says, is an option for Juventus, and he is there. With a player included, with a counterpart player, it could go down to somewhere around 20 to 25 million euros that Juve could bring in Koulibaly. However, they have to get rid of one of the center backs that they currently have on the roster in order to make room. Rugani is the name that must go for Koulibaly to come in. Could he be worked into that deal? I don't know if Napoli has any interest in Rugani, but Rugani would have to go. So this tells us that Gatti is here to stay with Juve. They don't want to move him whatsoever. Bonucci's going to have the captain's armband, and De Ligt is De Ligt. So it is what it is. Rugani must go for a center back to come into Juventus. That's the latest on the Koulibaly front from Paolo Non Molo. Then he gets into Aaron Ramsey. Aaron Ramsey willing to make a deal with Juventus to leave in not full salary, but he's asking half net salary request. Juve has countered with 2 million euros. Aaron Ramsey's ready to join Cardiff heading into this season, getting ready for World Cup. So look for them to agree to a number and Aaron Ramsey to move on. Okay. Adrian Rabiot, Paulo Nomolo says the offers from Chelsea are true, and look for PSG and United to relaunch their bids. Juventus is aiming for 20 million euros for the French midfielder, and the interest is real. Rabiot could very well leave the club. Now let's get to Arthur and Zaniolo, to Nonmolo's amazement. Roma has serious interest in the Brazilian midfielder Arthur. However, he says to make this deal work, this Arthur Zaniolo deal, the teams have to get very, very creative. And this is something I've said for quite some time now, basically all of last season for Juventini that want to move Arthur, said he stands the club a lot of money. Making a sale didn't seem realistic to me based on what the player's actual value is and what he stands us. Now, Molo reiterates that, saying that the creativity would have to be some form of loan worked into this deal. So again, loan, prorated value comes down, and then looking for a purchase on the backside of it, or potentially multi-year loan. One way or another, they would have to get very, very creative. But the positive is that Roma has interest in Artur. Okay, so that's the latest on that front. Now, Nomolo speaks to Di Maria. The Di Maria situation. There are no back and forths. There are no multiple conversations. There is nothing other than Di Maria presented to Juventus and Juventus making an offer. That is simply it. There's been none of this back and forth, all this deadlines, ultimatums, all this. None of that is true. Simply an offer put forth by Juventus and waiting for the yes or no on the player. So that is where we stand with Di Maria. All this other nonsense put out by journalists and tabloids is nothing. They wait for the yes or no. Now, in terms of Cuadrado, this was interesting from Nonmolo. He doesn't believe the situation is as fluid as it seems, and he believes that because Juventus is pushing to add Molina. Okay, so there you have it. They're pushing for Molina, and Udinese is looking for financial compensation plus a player. Okay, Ranocchia and De Winter are the names that Udinese is looking at for a deal to get Molina over to Juventus. So we still have to wait to see how that shapes up. All right. So again, Cuadrado future uncertain in Nonmolo's opinion. In his opinion, it's not as fluid, and Cuadrado might not be a part of the club next season, and they are pushing for Molina. So there you have it on that front. Last, certainly not least, he touches on the whole Allegri and Conte thing, and he says, do not be surprised if between the third and fourth year of Allegri's term, they consensually leave and part ways. Okay. So again, amicably, Allegri and Juventus, streets no longer intertwined. And don't be surprised if Conte comes to close out the cycle and finish his unfinished business with Juventus. That's what Nomolo leaves you with. But again, big drop from Nonmolo, okay, and a lot of news to take in, and I can't wait to hear all your thoughts, comments, opinions, questions on all the news I just brought you from our friend Nonmolo, who's never ever disappoints Juventini. So a lot of good stuff and good insight and interesting details coming from Nonmolo. Let me know what you think, and again, I'll be back tomorrow. Fino alla fina, forza Juve. Ciao tutti.